few weeks ago, Arkansas passed the strictest anti-abortion law in the country. They banned abortions past 12 weeks. And of course, the entire country was shocked. How did they do it? Is this constitutional? Well, North Dakota said, not so fast. I think we can actually beat you guys. And they have just passed a law that bans abortion after 6 weeks. So after the fetus has a heartbeat, a woman can no longer go to a clinic and get an abortion. I should also note that in North Dakota, there's only one abortion clinic, and that abortion clinic doesn't have admitting privileges, which is another law that was recently signed by the governor of North Dakota. And finally, if it turns out that your fetus has a genetic abnormality, you're not allowed to get an abortion in the state of North Dakota.
So let's take those one at a time. Now, the law says if you've got a fetal heartbeat, you can't abort. The fetal heartbeat can be as early as 6 weeks. Now, that's clearly against Roe versus Wade if you say you cannot have an abortion past 6 weeks or anything near that number. So they know that this is unconstitutional, as the Supreme Court has ruled today. But that's why they do it, because they want the Supreme Court to rule again and see if they can overturn Roe versus Wade. Now, on the issue of not having admitting privileges, the doctors that attend that one clinic in North Dakota do not have admitting privileges in North Dakota. That doesn't have anything to do with their qualifications. It's just the state of, it's a technical rule, and it's a technical bureaucratic rule used to try to shut down the only remaining clinic in North Dakota. Now, when you get to the issue of Down syndrome, et cetera, think about how much they're in the middle of your lives. That they don't want you to decide whether you're going to have a kid that might have a birth defect. It might be Down syndrome. It might be something much, much worse. So you remember the kid that had half his organs that were outside of his body, et cetera. And they're going to come in there and say, you don't get to make that decision. Big brother will make that decision for you. Big government will make that decision for you. If you're a conservative or a libertarian, you should despise that. But of course, these are all so-called conservatives that are pushing.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, and we mention this every time because I think it's the most important point, these are the same individuals that say that they're pro-life, but when it comes to government programs and when it comes to certain social services, they want to turn around and say, these people should just pick themselves up from the bootstraps. You don't get any help, right?
Yeah, and if half your organs are outside your body, it's a little hard to pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
But think about that for a second. They want to force women to have babies that might have genetic abnormalities. But they're the same people that want to cut funding that would help children that might have mental health disorders or physical issues. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. They're so hypocritical. And what's amazing to me is that they're willing to totally waste their resources by trying to defend this in the Supreme Court.
So there's a fun little irony there for you guys. Governor Jack Dalrymple, who is a Republican, signed these 3 bills, and they've got more bills down the pipeline. They've got over half a dozen bills restricting abortion. They're coming. Now, one of the reasons why is because they've got a lot of natural resources they found in North Dakota, oil, gas, etc. So they're like, great, we finally have enough money to pursue this litigation all the way to the Supreme Court. So now that we got the money, are we creating more jobs? Well, some jobs have been created, right? But we're going to take the rest of that money, and instead of doing job creation or creating opportunity for the next generations of people from North Dakota, they say, no. Instead, we're going to waste it fighting this litigation all the way to the Supreme Court to try to overturn Roe versus Wade. And every time they say, well, the American people are behind us, when that's not remotely true. When in fact, the great percentage of Americans think that abortion should be legal.
I mean, obviously you guys know what this means. I mean, we have states like Mississippi that have made it impossible to get an abortion, now North Dakota. Women are going to take matters into their own hands when they become desperate. And I hate that we have states in this country that want to go back to the times when, back alley abortions happened all the time, where women would basically die because they were going to these like makeshift clinics to have these procedures done.
So Paul Maloney, the executive director of North Dakota Right to Life, says nationwide there's receptiveness to this.
No, there isn't.
This is simply not true. Right, but we did that study on the show where we showed people that Republican politicians overestimate how conservative their constituents are by 20%, meaning that they think they're in Alabama when they're in California. Okay, that's as big a divide as there is in colloquial terms. So this guy thinks, well, oh yeah, we got this thing figured out, when in reality, at least a minimum of 70% of Americans believe that a woman should have a legal right to an abortion.
In fact, let me go ahead and state the statistics, okay, the actual evidence. So last summer, there was an organization known as Public Religion Research Institute, and they uncovered that 7 out of 10 Americans reported that the term pro-choice described them somewhat well. All right, now, keep that in mind, because Gallup also released a survey last year, and people were amazed by this survey because it indicated that only 41% of the country identified as pro-choice. But the reason why that happens is because they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about others.
No, it's awesome. But if you ask them, okay, you're not pro-choice. Do you want abortion to be legal? They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
That number is against 70%. So in reality, they're pro-choice.